Hey there, folks. Welcome back to the Weezand of Kados. Welcome back to Tales of Vesperia. Let's play Tales of Vesperia with me, the MysteriousJG. I have not been putting in a ton of hours on this game recently because of my recent Assassin's Creed addiction, but it's time to... It's a Saturday, it's kind of early in the evening, late in the afternoon. Nice time to kind of just chillax with a game. Yuri is on his own at the heartland town of Jormungand. So let's pick up from there. And I believe I don't need anything from, I think I'm done. If Drachi the Dork is to be trusted, I think I have all the little optional dialogues here I need to have, but thanks to my new working mouse, I can double check that. Man, hopefully it'll be up by the time this gets posted, but I had a online C64 gaming session with Zerfall and Boba the Vulture where I was in a foul mood, and I hope I didn't ruin it for everyone else. I was just so pissed off about my mouse issues on my laptop, and I went out and bought a new mouse, and it's all fine, but the way the mouse was screwing up, I seriously thought my Windows was just like broken. But what it is that my wireless mouse broke down, and I went to try an old, just regular old wired mouse, optical mouse, and that was stopped. That wouldn't work either, but it was really working in like a really odd way that it didn't work. And I think it was just that I had a mouse break, and then the mouse that I went to check to see if it... Oh, is it a USB problem? Is it really the mouse? The mouse that I went to check with was probably also pretty much broken, or there might have been a short in the wires. But it had been so long since I'd used it that I didn't know that, and I thought something bigger was wrong. So I went out and bought a new mouse, and it's working, although when I actually run the Logitech unifying software on it, the Logitech can't detect it, but the mouse seems to be working anyway, so I'm just like, don't push your luck, just fucking use the mouse, JG. It only cost $20. I thought it would be more expensive than that, actually. Because I remember buying it when I bought my new computer, and its list price was like much higher than that, but that was probably getting a lot of smoke blown up my rear end by... I bought the thing online, custom made from HP, and they were like, and we'll throw in this $100 value optical mouse. Or, wireless mouse. And it's like, yeah, maybe the thing cost more than $20 3 years ago, and now it's down to $20, but I don't think it was ever worth what HP told me it was worth. The sage says he's making a doohickey from some crystal thing. Isn't that amazing? Oh, shit, I'm forcing myself to play this because I'm getting so far ahead on Assassin's Creed, which is like the game that's like, it's the one that I really kind of feel like playing. I'm jonesing on all the time. And now this game has a frickin' Sage too. Are the Templars after this guy? I forgot exactly what he's making. I don't really remember, but it was definitely amazing. Yeah, the people around here have like weird issues with their memory. And speaking of issues with memory, here's a lady with some fine memories. The stuff. So you weren't able to meet Pharaoh after all.
But I learned about some very important things. The child of the full moon and the Intellectia blah blah.
I think those are the fucking Templars. Or maybe they're the precursor race. Clearly this game has stolen its entire plot from Assassin's Creed, despite the fact that it predates Assassin's Creed 4. This game probably doesn't predate Assassin's Creed, but it predates the one that I'm currently fixated on. To the point where it's ruining this video. Shut up and talk about the game you're playing, JG. But the only new things we learned was what those words mean. Yeah, good point. We didn't actually learn shit. I'm sorry, I had a paranoia attack that it's not recording. As for the reason Pharaoh's trying to kill you, it seems we won't know unless we go and ask him directly. I thought that's what you were trying to do! This game, maybe it should, because I keep forgetting what's going on. I certainly have never figured out the gameplay mechanics, since there aren't that many battles that really challenge you to know them well. And, getting really good at Fatal Strikes and stuff is basically a matter of, your own personal accomplishment and earning Xbox achievements. But, the game seems to just believe that you have no short-term memory and need to be constantly reminded about whatever it is they're doing.
But you heard what he was saying. If I go meet Pharaoh, will just wipe me out. He'll just wipe me
out. Yes, he did say that. He said that just a short time ago. It looks like we'll never know the truth then.
After all this.
We'll just join our fucking guild. We're going around, we're having adventures. I mean, it's not quite being pirates, but it's pretty close. We're just fighting monsters, earning gil, you know, going from town to town, doing quests and shit. It's way better than an office job.
It's like I'm being told that I should just give up.
No, no way.
Maybe.
Maybe way. Huh?
Maybe what I'm trying so hard to figure out isn't really that important to know at all.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, how many people threw away their lives to achieve Avatar's dream of asking the goddess what the deal was with the Dragon War in Breath of Fire 3? Like, the 3/4 of the game was just like, yeah, Avatar wants to ask this lady a question, so let's go see if we can find her. That's 3/4 of the dang game. What do you mean?
If I'd never met you, Yuri, and I just kept living my life in that castle, I wouldn't have this STD.
Sorry.
I would have lived without ever knowing about the Child of the Full Moon or the Endalexia or any of that.
Would that really be so bad? I guess that's what she's saying.
So maybe I could just go on living without knowing why Pharaoh wants me dead.
Well, Pharaoh's gonna come kill you if you don't figure out something. So you're saying you should just go back to the capital? She's not going back to the capital! We know this! She is not going back to the capital, folks. It isn't gonna happen.
I think that's definitely an option.
Oh, Jesus. Fuck, are you fucking kidding me? Maybe that's it. Maybe this is the ending. The end game is she goes back to the capital and we never find out the answers to any of these questions. Could be. Like, seriously, I think we're actually... This could be the last video of Tales of Vesperia. We're going to finish this conversation, then have the ending scene. If that's what you want to do, I won't stop you.
Yuri!
Our contract with you is null and void at this point after all. You didn't pay us.
That's true.
I don't even remember what they're talking about. Perhaps I should have been reminded 5 or 6 more times between now and the moment where it first rose in the story. No, their contract? I mean... She was going to pay them to take her to the desert, so I guess null and void might be kind of a poor translation, but what they're saying is that they completed the contract and they've actually done what they told her they were going to do. Unlike Swan, who refused to go help Ajax. It's just, I don't really like hypothetical situations. They're not real life. Ambiguity is scary, and I'm not going too good at pretending to forget things that I already know. Although everyone else in the party seems to be pretty good at that. Or maybe they're not pretending. ... It's called an ellipsis, Estelle. If you can do that, then I don't have a problem with it. But can you really?
Then I...
Finish the sentence, Estelle.
I can't do that either. But I have no idea what I should do in this sort of situation.
Just whatever you want, who cares? You want to know about the truth, but you don't know what to do. You're on your own! That'd be a good summary of your situation, right?
Yes, I'm glad you summarized it, because I'd forgotten what my situation was. Yes!
Gotcha. I was about to, like, as a joke say, and then their conversation ends, but it just... What the hell kind of ending was that? Oh, this game gets me too upset. I get worked up about this game. It's because there are elements of it I like the design. I'm a sucker for the cutesy little anime worlds. And the character designs are nice. By and large, the characters are pleasant. I really like Yuri and Estelle. They seem sweet, but that just means that the aspects of the game that are infuriating, like the interminable conversations, where it's like 98% of the conversations are just supposed to be like filling in character and not actually advancing the story at all, they end up driving me batshit. Like, if the game just sucked all around, it wouldn't bother me.
I'll think about it.
It's also the kind of game that, like, if you don't talk to everyone 8 times over, you're gonna miss some kind of hidden item or something. Gruff. So I guess we can't leave yet. We didn't... Drachi the Dork, I have to wander around. There's a limit bottle somewhere. A simple tent. Oh. Okay, go back to the guy. Sorry. I had to talk to Duke more than once, which I did. There's a strange mark. Talk to everyone else. Okay. I think I'm just at the point where I'm talking to everyone, any of my party members that I find around. I talk to them before I...
You're wearing such unusual clothes.
Yeah, well, we're not from, like, frickin' fake Shangri-La. Yeah, this is the point where I talk to all my party members whenever I find them in town, and... Captain Polaris. See, I was gonna say, maybe this guy will sell the freaking, weapons and items that we didn't get in the desert, but, nah, he doesn't. Why would they sell that stuff? It makes sense that they wouldn't sell that stuff. It's like a super peaceful town. Greatly increases dark resistance, and these might actually be really useful. Yeah, those might be really useful against certain enemies, but I don't really have a ton of cash to spend. So this is reminding me, I don't think I talked about this in the last play session, but you guys remember that show Tailspin? Yeah, it was part of like the Disney afternoon block. When DuckTales was, you know, I think they weren't doing a lot of first-run DuckTales anymore, but it was still in syndication. They built a block around DuckTales. DuckTales was a huge money-making thing for Disney for a while, but apparently... I read an article about this. Apparently there was this change in management at Disney, and like the new people in charge just hated anything to do with DuckTales, and like sort of refused to recognize its existence for a while. But DuckTales was a big cash cow for them for a while, despite being made up entirely of ducks, with some beagles thrown in. And so they had a Disney afternoon lineup on, you know, cartoons that kind of dominated. It was like DuckTales and Tailspin, which was like characters from the Disney adaptation of the Jungle Book, minus the actual little boy who was like the main character. And Kaa the Snake wasn't in it that I remember, but like Shere Khan was an actual business tycoon. And Baloo ran like a, you know, an airline, or rather he flew for an airline that was run by characters who were not originally part of this show. And it was kind of weird. The female characters all had to wear clothing on their lower bodies, but the male characters didn't. And Louie the Ape guy was a little bit more positive character than he was in the movie, and that was on, and Darkwing Duck was on, and there was something called Bonkers, which I never really watched. But yeah, Tailspin was a show about like Baloo the Bear flying around and having adventures, and there was like some little kid character you were supposed to like who had like a flying skateboard kind of deal, and yeah, and they had adventures, and they fought the villainess Don Carnage, who was kind of fun. But really, it was kind of like non-threatening PG stuff. But they had a two-part episode where Baloo flew to this strange valley covered in mist and crash-landed there, and he met a bunch of like really calm and friendly and peaceful, smiling panda bears dressed in Chinese dress, and you know, the city he came from, Cape Suzette, which was a pun on Crepe Suzette, of course, wasn't inhabited entirely by bears. There was all sorts of just like Disney, you know, anthropomorphic animals, but yeah, it mostly is made up of other bears and stuff. But this place is made up entirely of pandas, and they were all in Eastern dress. So he had basically flown to some kind of like Tailspin World version of China. And it was like a two-parter because, like, even though he thought it was all nice and they were being really nice to him and stuff, but there were like little hints dropped in the first episode that all was not as it seemed, and it was this Shangri-La place where they were, you know, they were cut off and isolated from the rest of the world and very peaceful, but they had like weapons and stuff that were like stored away, and he didn't know about them, and then they ended up following him back and invading Cape Suzette, and the second half of it was this war where they were fighting off these evil pandas, and it was really crazy because I remember thinking it was actually a really good episode of the show because it was actually tense. It had more drama than usual. It was a nice two-part episode. But I remember having watched it, and at the time being like, it's a little weird that they could get away with having like these panda bears in Chinese dress be the bad guys, and they even had a little bit of a Chinese accent going on for those characters. And I was like, wow, I'm kind of surprised that Disney did that. I mean, you know, I was a older kid, but still a kid. Might have been in like junior high watching this show and thinking like, you know, I'm not like ultra politically correct, but I was a little surprised that they pulled that off. And then I remember years later, not that I'm a huge tailspin aficionado, but I would, you know, I'd be reminiscing with people about my age. But oh, remember the cartoons you used to watch? Oh, Tailspin, yeah. You remember the one about the pandas? And everyone's like, no. Nobody else has ever seen this thing. For a while, I thought I dreamed it up, but eventually I found out online. I did some reading, and it's like this episode that I thought was like, that was kind of neat, but it was a little controversial for Disney. It never aired again. I apparently caught it on its first run, and then when they went into syndication, they took that episode out, and the article says it was because it showed war and was considered too violent, but I'm like, no, I think somebody realized, hey, who greenlighted the racist episode where the yellow menace comes to attack our furry friends? Anyway, this whole Shangri-La setting reminded me of it. Sorry to go off on a tangent there. It's not like we were getting anywhere in this video anyway. We weren't able to find Barrow after all. Yeah, our first job as a guild was an egregious failure. Wait a minute, what about all those warehouses I cleaned up? That wasn't a failure. What do you think? Should we go back to Dongrass? Well, only if that bridge was broken and we couldn't access the city. That might be best, but would you be okay with that, Yuri? Well, I mean, what the fuck am I gonna do? I really don't have a job. And what about Estelle? I'd be fine with it. As for Estelle, I'll leave that answer up to her. Alright. This sure is a serene little town. Yeah, I don't know why they don't stay here. It seems pretty nice, actually. Probably get pretty boring, but... Huh? Oh yeah, it is, isn't it? No guilds, no empire. It's a little strange. Yeah, but I think it's relaxing. Yeah, but even so, I prefer Dongrust. That's how everyone is. Everyone prefers the place where they grew up. I was an army brat. I don't really know what that would be. You too, Yuri? No, I thought he hated the slums. Well, I guess he likes the people of the lower quarter. Well, yeah, sure. But if we're going to work together in Brave Vesperia, we'll have to decide on a single place for our home base. I think you guys should get a pirate ship. Sorry, you guys should have a roving pirate ship base. We could always make someplace new, you know. Why don't they have their guild be headquarters out of the isolated town no one can get to? Someplace new. Someplace stinky? No. Yeah, you know, everyone thinks of Dongrass as the Union City, but it's really Altosk's city. It could be like that. Brave Vesperia could make its own city. You guys, you know, they've got some pretty big plans for this guild that is led by a small child. I mean, it's like when I was a kid, and I remember Bobo and I were little, and we went to the old country, and we were hanging out with our cousins, and they were going to build, like, they had this notion they were going to build, like, this fort, and we were going to hang out there, and, like, but, like, they were drawing up plans for it, and it was, like, I guess I was, like, practical. It didn't have any romance in my soul, even as a kid. I was like, we can't build this. Like, they were talking about building, like, a car, too, like, out of wood. I'm like, what? I mean, these guys are going to build a city. And they're approximately the age I was when my cousins were, like, talking about building, like, this, we're going to build a super cool battle vehicle, and it's going to have, like, a battering ram. And they were, like, going to get a couple of, like, pallets and break them down to have wood. And I was like, you guys are nuts. Brave Vesperia's own city. Yeah, I like that idea. Well, I mean, I guess they could build a city in the JRPG sense if a city has 3 buildings. And in their case, it would be a bunch of huts. Maybe some tents. Well, either way. We've got a lot of jobs as a guild ahead of us before we can be thinking about things like that. Yeah. Now that you mentioned that Nordopolica is Palestralla's city, isn't it? These are just making up words. Yeah, if you think of it that way, Nordopolica is more of a guild city than Dongrass, even. Yeah, and Bellius rules the city, too. Well, we haven't met her yet. Nordopolica, leader of a city, Duce of a guild. I wonder what sort of person Bellius is. Werewolf. The guild town, huh? I wish I could start one. Even if the tower is perfectly safe for monsters, for the chief, it would still be a temporary fix. Perhaps we should just make the sage village chief. The sage is gone. No one seems to realize the sage is gone.
Even now I can see Long Chi smile. I wonder when he will come home.
He's dead. I guess we didn't tell her. Kids must be worried. If only they didn't come looking for us. You want your kids not to care about you? So they want to hurry back to see their kids, which I guess it's safe to say they're not heading back until we do, because, you know, monsters would murder them. The sage is gone, so there's no one here now but Estelle. Did Duke go down some stairs that we don't have access to? Did he go through these doors? No, not now. I'll lose my concentration. Shut up! Nice painting. Hope no Paul drivers tonight. See, it looks like you can get up there, but... Alright, who haven't we talked to? We haven't talked to Raven or Judith. Truth is, villagers' faith in me has been wavering. Yeah. I don't think they ever had any faith, buddy, and if they did, they were fools. Here's Raven. Hey, old man. You can feel free to go ahead to Nordopolica. Go on ahead to Nordopolica. I don't know why they're such jerks to Raven, really. I mean, he acts like an idiot sometimes, but... Hey there, youngin'. What, you want to get rid of me so soon? They're gonna keep calling him old. I've given him this kind of stoner voice for some reason. I could be giving him more of a, old man voice. Hey there, youngin'. What, you gonna get rid of me so soon? Wrong. I just wouldn't want you to miss the new moon on your chance to deliver the letter all on our account. Oh. Honestly, I can do fine without your concern. Wrong again. If Brave Vesperia gets in the way of Altosk's work, we'll be apologizing to the Don for an eternity. The Dean, too. Dean Douglas. You're Raven, you must know Dean Douglas. Franchise Shane Douglas, whatever it's called in your world. What? You're too young to bother yourself with such fluff. It's a matter of Brave Vesperia being trustworthy, you see what I mean? We still got time left until the new moon, we'll be fine. You sure? Anyway, I'm about to go back through the desert in that cave myself. If I got killed by some monster on the way there, not only would the letter not get delivered, but Brave Vesperia certainly wouldn't look very trustworthy to potential clients then, would they? In that case, we'd collect your bones to the letter and deliver them as promised. Oh, well, kind of. Wait, hey! Anyway, just so long as you won't go blame me if you don't manage to deliver it on time. No problem. Musical note. Makes he's whistling. Don't be so cold. I may be old, but I'm a very sensitive guy. Yeah, the old man voice wasn't doing it for me.
Say, have you ever been to the Colosseum? They say the atmosphere's like a banquet of madness. Is it true?
She's kind of a weird lady. Judith must be over here. Ah. She's preventing my escape. You're always out walking around, aren't you? I don't like it!
Yes, I guess I'm a pretty restless person.
That's unexpected.
You seem to have some problems staying put yourself.
I'm pretty restless myself.
That's unexpected.
Oh, I was making fun of the dialogue, but no, she's almost saying it.
That's not so unexpected, I think. ... Maybe it's the wanderlust coming back to me, but I used to fly around with Baal all the time.
I just think it's so great that she used to fly around on the demon Baal. Or Baal. The Lord of Destruction. Sadly, Baal, despite having more dialogue probably in the game than, what's it, Mephisto? Mephisto still has my favorite line of all in Diablo, Diablo 2, which is, "You're too late." Yeah, back when you were wearing that weird white armor.
Yes. It was weird, wasn't it? Are you going to go look for Pharaoh by yourself?
Oh, you're going to go look for Pharaoh by yourself? Nah. Oh, then where were you planning on going? Well, aren't you going to come with us? You joined our guild, at least that's what you said. I think Judith just said she joined the guild to make Carol happy. She has no fucking intention of hanging around with us. Only a walk. Oh, I see. Doesn't it seem like we've been meeting this way a lot recently? I do like the fact that Yuri's keeping his options open. I mean, it seems like Estelle's the one he's after. And he's got Judith in the pocket just in case, you know. Not really making any moves for Raymond. Raymond? What the? Raymond? Rita. Doesn't seem to be making any moves on Rita. Rita's probably a little too young, but, yeah, it's like, this whole Estelle thing doesn't work, yeah. Or he just likes chatting with somebody who's going to be a little less, rinky-dink, annoying, innocent than, Estelle. No, must be your imagination. Did that white armor really look that strange on me? Yeah, it did look a little weird. I liked it. It's sturdy and... Are you implying I have bad taste? Oh, okay, well apparently there's more things to say to these guys than I thought. So just to be sure.
I'll think about it.
Okay. Gruff, gruff. This feels like a waste of time, but just to be super sure. Don't be so cold, don't be so cold. I won't bother with Rita, because oh, what the hell. If I'm going to bother with the rest, I might as well bother with Rita. This whole video is just going to be me in town. Half of it talking to my party members, the other half of it talking about an episode of Tailspin. A 2-part episode of Tailspin. Nobody else remembers. I don't know if it's on the DVD release.
No! 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 Diddy Mow! Diddy Mow!
What part of Diddy Mow didn't you understand? I think I talked to him more than once too, didn't I? Yeah, okay, so I got it covered. Judith panicked me a little bit by having an unusual number of things to say, because I mocked her white armor. It didn't look sturdy. I mean, because all we could see is the outside cloth. It might have been really sturdy underneath, and the cloth just kind of... They'll start to worry if you don't start pulling yourself together. Guess this will do. You got it. What? What does that mean? Are we supposed to sleep at the inn before we're allowed to leave? But it costs money. What? I don't need to. Okay, I do. I'm reading the fact. I must rest at the inn in order for the story to progress. We look forward to serving you in a creepy way. Alright, let's get out of here. Let's skedaddle. I don't see anybody around. I'm not going to go looking that hard for them. I'm going to assume they're all waiting at...
Glad you could make it.
Hey! I was ready to leave before you asked, Face. Game forced me to go to the inn.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
At least Rapide's going to back me up.
You'll be heading back too, right?
Yes. Thanks to your help, we've recovered our strength.
Wait, now they have voice actors?
We were thinking we'd cross the desert with you all. That is, if you don't mind.
Screw that. You're not allowed to cross with us. You go first.
Just make sure you don't go wandering off.
How about us? What's our plan after this?
Well, Carol, we figured you would come with us, too. We weren't spontaneously going to abandon you. And we talked about it, Carol. You and I are going to go form a city. You know, what the fuck, why not? Let's go make a city.
I'm headed for the Air Crene and the Weasand of Kados.
Oh my god, she got all of it in there. Everything except the Rizomata formula. All the other crazy fantasy bullshit words she got into one sentence. Good job, Rita.
But I am curious about the Entelikeia, too.
Oh, no. You proved me wrong, Rita. There was one other word, Entelikeia. And for some reason, I'm back to calling you Rita instead of Raymond.
I have the honored task of delivering this letter here to Bellius.
I'd like to meet Belius once myself. I mean, seriously, the Duce.
How awesome is that? The title Duce.
I want to see just what kind of person the leader of the only guild to rival Altosk really is.
Does Yuri just look really pissed off for some reason?
It's Nordopolica for me, too. I'm gonna see what Flynn has to say about those knights in Mantake.
I almost wish we'd gone back to Nordopolica and talked to him after visiting Mantake. We probably did. It just didn't do anything. I definitely went back there after getting to the Wheeze End of Kados to try to get more ingredients.
That's assuming he's still in Nordopolica, of course.
This game could really use fast travel between cities, too.
I want to know why the Antilochaea hate the child of the full moon.
Don't refer to yourself in the third person, Estelle.
Which means I have to meet Pharaoh. But there's gotta be another way that doesn't involve Pharaoh.
Right. Besides, walking around in the desert just looking for him wouldn't be easy.
It was your plan! For the last 15 videos, you've been trying to get to the desert so you could wander around and look for Pharaoh!
Why don't we all head for Nordopolica then?
What? You're... Oh. Jeez. I give up. Rita was begging them not to go to the desert without a better plan than let's go to the desert and see what happens. Now they get to the desert and they're like, oh, let's go back to the last place we were. Maybe something will happen there.
You're only looking to find out the reason you were attacked by the Antilochaea, correct?
Oh, I'm not looking for... Oh, you're talking to Estelle.
Yes? I imagine Belius could tell you if you met with her.
And,
by the time we get back, the incredibly contrived and retarded reason we couldn't meet with her the last time we were in Nordopolica should have gone away.
Why? Because of the connection between the Antilochaea and the Colosseum?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
I do remember Jaeger mumbling something about the Antilochaea of Nordopolica.
Right before he said something like, Achtung, Achtung, Juristonix, right?
If we can believe anything he told us.
Yeah, I mean, the guy told us that it'd be a good idea to take, like, a steak and put batter on it and fry it up and call it, like, a Wiener Schnitzel.
Well, we'll pass through the Wiesent of Kados on the way to see Belius. Good enough?
Oh, if it's German, shouldn't it be the Wiesent of Kados?
True enough.
Yeah, because...
Alright then, Nordopolica it is.
Because apparently I revealed my knowledge of German being W's to sound like B's, and you shout. my in-depth knowledge of a proud and ancient culture. God. Es tut mir leid.
Right. First, let's get back to Mantake.
Estelle, you done staring wistfully at whatever?
Belius only meet with people on the night of the new moon?
Yeah, and you're like the moon child, so you should be able to control the moon, right?
Yeah, we'll have to get a move on if we're going to see her.
Maybe Belius is the child of the new moon, and Estelle's just full of crap. And she transforms into human form only on the night of the new moon.
Kick myself if we miss the new moon and have to wait another month.
The whole, like, the ruler of this city only visits with people once a month thing is just... It's one of those little fantasy kingdom things. It really takes me out of the game, the idea that people wouldn't ask questions about that. Reunited with everyone, and I was seen. Yep.
Can a clear CL crystal really be used to make a barrier?
Nah.
If we could, and we had enough, we'd be able to make as many barriers as we wanted.
Then even areas that suffer frequent monster attacks could be assured safety.
Yeah, but if it were possible, wouldn't something like that have happened by now?
Maybe.
It's best not to get our hopes up about it then.
Ever the realist, I see.
All I'm doing is speculating
Why
on the
is she
most probable
pissed?
outcome.
Actually, I think that's what being a realist means.
Okay, that was fabulous. So everyone's being bitchy to each other for no real reason. Tales of Vesperia, folks. Alright, when we come back, I guess we're going to be heading back to, well, I don't know what's going to happen there plot-wise, but we went to a city on the edge of the desert where the Empire was, like, really being evil, and we couldn't figure out exactly how or why. I'm thinking that on the return trip, something might be up. But I really don't know, because I haven't spoiled this portion of this. I haven't really spoiled any of Tales of Vesperia for myself, actually, but so that's good. I really don't know what's coming up, folks. So I think I figured out who Bellius is. Other than that, I really don't know where the story's going, so we'll find out more next time. Thanks for watching, folks. Bye-bye.